Let the Democrats get away with the steal. If we do, Republicans might never win the presidency again. So just forget about 2024. We need to figure this out now. With me now is Texas Congressman Brian Babin himself. Welcome, Congressman.
Great to be with you, Carol.
Thank you. So you're one of the few Republicans in Congress who aren't staying silent about this election. Talk to me about why you aren't raising the white flag of surrender and just congratulating Joe Biden.
Well, we have absolutely seen too many anomalies. We've got over 400 sworn affidavits or witnesses who saw things like their postmaster boss stamping ballots with the previous day's date, seeing ballot boxes brought in all hours of the evening after the deadline. These types of things. We've got Dominion voting systems, which was rejected by my home state of Texas, and there's been some anomalies there. We saw that there were 2,600 votes suddenly found in a county in Georgia. These are the types of things I believe that the American people want to see. 72 million people voted for Donald Trump. And, you know, in the House of Representatives where I serve, we actually did very, very well. We didn't take the majority back, but we really closed and narrowed that margin very, very well. And I think the American people spoke loud and clear that they rejected socialism. I think average, everyday working American, patriotic Americans don't want to see open borders and their health care taken over and run in a socialist manner. They don't want to see police departments abolished and defunded. And I think they spoke loud and clear. And so that makes it even more strange that you would have all these thousands and thousands of mail-in ballots mysteriously appearing in these battleground states where they had only one office voted for. You had a whole ballot, but only one office was checked, and that was for Joe Biden. And so there's just a lot of unanswered questions I think the American people deserve to hear. And I think that the lawsuits and the Trump team, the legal team, are following these leads. And listen, if it turns out that we had a fair election and we can prove that, I think we will certainly accept it. But until that time, I think there's about half of America wants to see some evidence that it was done in a transparent way that we can all trust. Because as you know, the transfer of power in this country, which has worked so well for well over 2 centuries, is dependent upon an election process that is open and transparent and that the American voter trusts. And if we can't trust that, then you know, there could be dire consequences for the our great democratic republic.
And to your point, right now today we're seeing in Utah that Burgess Owens was able to win and flip his seat. I believe that is now the 12th House seat that Republicans were able to flip from blue to red. And so a lot of people are looking around and wondering, if Republicans did so well down the ticket, how in the world is Biden supposedly up so many millions of votes nationally? It's very strange.
Very strange. It doesn't pass the smell test. And so for that reason, I think that we need to have a thorough investigation. The American people are demanding it. I've had a number of rallies in my district and other members in their districts in Texas who want to see and be assured that this process was done right and done transparently and open. And I can't argue with that, and with my constituents demanding to see this and showing up by the hundreds and hundreds to these rallies, even thousands. I think that we need to see this.
And then looking ahead now to the next legislative season, House Democrats went into the election thinking that they might gain as many as 20 seats, and as now we know, they've lost as many as 12 seats with still some elections up for grabs. So looking ahead to the future, does this mean that House Democrats will have to pursue a less left-wing woke agenda, or do you think they'll just continue to steamroll right through?
Well, you know, I think we know who's controlling the Democratic Party, and it's not Joe Biden and it's not Nancy Pelosi. It's the radical wing, the Marxist wing of this party. It's Antifa, it's BLM, who proudly declare their Marxist ideology, and they're wanting to take America in a direction, as I said earlier, of open borders, higher taxes, closing down our police departments, abolishing ICE. These types of things, a complete socialization of our health care. I don't think Americans want to see that, and I think if Mr. Biden and Ms. Harris, if this does become their administration, they're going to be very hard put to try to deny the demands that are coming from that radical wing of their party, and I think it's going to really be very concerning to patriotic Americans around this nation who don't want to see that direction.
And going back for a moment to Dominion, as you were talking about, your great state of Texas said no, but about 30 states ended up using Dominion voting systems despite its long history of all sorts of irregularities. What does that tell you?
It tells me that Texas was a lot smarter. We were with it. I think these other states that took it, they may not have examined it as closely as Texas has, but I read the report. It was very, it was prone to having human error, whether it was done intentionally or not intentionally, and so the IT team from Texas did not recommend certification, and so we didn't have it in Texas, and we've seen all kinds of problems with it. As we said earlier in our discussion, the 2,600 found votes, many other anomalies that have occurred. It is owned by a company in Canada, but it has some connections to some strange folks around the globe. Some of them not too a little on the unsavory side. I can't say for certain that connection is definite, but it certainly has the evidence of having trails to that some of these more suspicious groups and organizations, and so I think that it bears looking at very hard, very closely, and scrutinized, so that the American people will have the assurance that our great republic and democratic republic will continue to have elections that we can trust, and the peaceful transfer of power that we're so noted for and have been for 240 years or more will continue. Otherwise, I don't need to remind folks out there that the consequences may not be good.
I'm going to leave it right there tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, Congressman.
You bet. Thank you. Good to be with you.
And